It's okay. Hello, world. My name is Ashley Collins. Welcome to my YouTube channel, The Breakup Diaries. I have a very special guest right now, one of my very close friends. I think we're friends. So,
Yeah.
say that we're not. From Twitter, had a request for on a topic on my channel, which was abusive relationships. So, why don't you tell us your story of your past abusive relationships, singular or plural?
Well, I have two very abusive relationships. One was I was in the military. I was in the Navy, and I met and fell in love and married a woman very early, and that relationship resulted in cheating multiple times by her, um, physical abuse, mental abuse, dragging out divorce, physical abuse outside the courthouse, and
Where she put her hands on you?
yes, restraint and slapping.
Hmm.
And yeah, when that happens to men, we're not sure how to deal with that, because you're especially military, you're told not to hit back or you get punished worse than they would. And the last one was just it was just cheating going on for a while, which I consider cheating abuse.
Yeah. How did you find out about the cheating?
The last one, it was after the breakup. I broke up with her just because I wasn't being respected, and I kind of put it together. Kind of, you're when you're still recovering, you replay some stories and you see some things that don't make sense. I would go to her job and her coworkers would give me that look and not really look me in the eye and just kind of they go from happy to just downtrodden.
Hmm.
And it just some things that some stuff from her that didn't make sense. And then in my other marriage, in my marriage, she told me that she would cheat on me if I didn't get my act together. This was 3 weeks after I got out of the military for her, and then I I suspect that she did something with my dad. Um, or I come home and there's just something suspicious going on.
Yeah.
And then she actually divorced me for the other man, married him, divorced him, and remarried him.
Okay.
And that was cheating going on um, pretty much right after she left my house.
Hmm. So we had a discussion. Can you go into further deep analysis on the psychology, I guess, of cheating?
Can you remind me what that was? As far as I guess how.
You sent me a link with the this narcissist YouTube page about
Oh yes. Oh yeah. Knowing the narcissist, he's
yeah.
amazing. Um, as far that's more the extreme end. Personality disorders, they're fairly rare. I tend to know, because I had a borderline mother, and I've dated a lot of borderline women,
Hmm.
and I tend to know pretty early on when I see a narcissist. Um, Also, I do a lot of volunteering, and there's, you kind of see people in higher positions and positions that make them look good.
Hmm.
But it's been more experience with me with cheers. So I could talk about that. I don't want to talk about the borderline because again, hashtag not all. You know,
Yeah, true.
I've known some that would never cheat, just had their problems that we're still recovering from that were highly functional, and I've known a lot that were low functional. It just depends. But
Um,
I can talk about the cheaters pretty well because I've been cheated on by every relationship because I didn't know how to pick them. But
yeah, go into detail about that, please.
with that one, pretty early on, you don't want to face it. It's kind of like You know how when you were little and you kind of put together that there was no Santa Claus, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
and you just didn't want to face that. Everybody, you kind of put together that's impossible for that to happen, but you just didn't want to face that, even though all the signs are there. Um, so pretty early on because the communication sucks. It's you feel like they're not coming to you when they have a problem.
yeah.
They're possibly going to someone else. Um, Also, I mean, the sex, they say the sex, but no, the sex could be amazing with you, but they're still going out and getting it from someone else. That's been my experience. That was my experience with the last one. So it was like, what's wrong with me? Why are you doing this? Why are you, the last one, I can talk about the last one as far as, just off the top of my head. She was coming to me late at night, like 7 o'clock, and leaving at 10. So spending a couple hours with me just to have sex and then leave.
Okay.
Or one time, to have sex, I turn around, and she's all dolled up and going on a date and didn't want to. Yeah, going, and I felt bad for that guy. I kind of knew it was going on. I just did not want to face it right then and there.
Yeah,
And yeah, I felt sympathy for that guy.
yeah,
Um, the other times, okay. A big one I've noticed is I'm trying to pull out some signs that not everybody knows. As far as gifts, you're never going to get with the relationships that cheat on you. These are not the ones where it goes from really good to just that one time where you're having problems and there was someone available that slept with them when you weren't there. This
mhm,
is the it was always abusive and oh, with those relationships they start off with a bang. They're that you're lonely or there's something you're missing,
yeah,
and they come in and they deliver all those promises and tell you everything you want to hear. The relationship is very very fast. They want pretty much want to say they want you to say I love you within about 3 to 4 weeks.
yeah,
Yeah, the the gifts are absolutely terrible if you look at them in retrospect. It's never anything they had to go through any effort to make or to go get or any great expense. It's always just kind of something they picked up.
wow,
Um, Going on to the end, pet names. I noticed they want to call you pet names, and then it serves two purposes. It's because they can call everybody that same pet name and not screw that up or say the wrong person's name during sex. But also when they start calling you your real name, it's going to cut through you like a dagger.
yeah, wow,
So I've got some introspect in this kind of thing, and I think a lot of what happens with cheating in relationships is that the people that stay, it's the sunken cost fallacy. You think you've spent so long in this relationship that it's got to get better when it's going downhill and you just don't want to face it.
yeah, wow. That's such an interesting observation because I'm reflecting on my last relationship, and within the first week he said I love you.
Yes,
Yeah, yeah, and then he already immediately had a pet name for me, and then
yes,
he brought me a gift, and I've never dated a guy that's brought me a gift randomly before. It's always been like forced.
and
I
it
vocally say what I want, and he was the first one who actually got me something like that I never asked for. Like I immediately was like, oh my god, like we're meant to be together, like
what was it?
have tons of babies, and that's interesting.
Oh, that's another thing. The future. Oh, sorry. What was your gift? If you mind me asking.
He bought me a mirror.
Oh.
Oh wait, what does that mean? You made a sound. What does that mean?
I'm just thinking, the term for mirroring.
Mm-hmm.
It's when the abuser basically mirrors everything that's good in you, and you basically fall in love with yourself. Only when they start acting different, towards the end, before you either get rid of them or they abandon you for someone else, and they're completely different because they're mirroring someone else. They're basically copying the traits of someone else. That's kind of a I don't want to say the what the personality disorders, but that's kind of what abusers do. They copy you. They laugh at the same jokes, and they crack the same kind of jokes as you. They say they love the same shows and music, and so you fall in love with them because you like people that are like you.
Yeah. Can you
Kind of a
would you mind
psychology there.
saying that again?
So that you like people that are similar to you.
Wait, I'm gonna post this on my Instagram. So I'm gonna take a video of a video. Is that okay?
Okay, is that we
Okay, so my ex got me a mirror, and you said that
we fall in love with people that are like us. Oh, that one or about the mirror?
I'm going into further detail about that.
That I thought that was funny because it reminded me of mirroring. Is that the I don't know. I'm talking about this tonight. Yeah.
You were saying how they mirror what we want, what we
Oh
want.
yeah. You fall in love with basically a version of yourself that they're reflecting back to you.
Hmm, that's interesting. So that was definitely a red flag that I didn't even acknowledge.
Well, that and gifts really early on when it's like I say it's like drink man. Drink man at a bar buys you a drink and then expects something in return.
Yeah, yeah.
So they'll give you things and expect you that you'll stay with them. But this also reminds me of the going into the future faking, talking about marriage and kids. You don't know this person, and when
Mhm.
they're talking to you for 3 weeks or a few months, that is not enough time to really think about having marriage or kids with that person. Normal people don't talk like that. Abusers love that.
Hmm.
But you can talk about, yes, I want kids and I want a wife someday, but we're not going to talk about that because I need to get to know you first.
Yeah.
But when they're already talking about when we have kids or when we get married, this is what we're going to do. That's them basically trying to get you to sign a contract that they don't intend to plan. They don't intend to fill. They don't intend to stay with you long term. Your due date is kind of expected, and this is one thing I talked to you about in the DMs
Yeah.
is that those relationships are really only good for about 3 to 4 months,
Hmm.
and that's because it is so hard for them to fake and mirror you and then give you all this energy, and then things start going south, and then that's usually when you hear the either I need space or I love you but I'm not in love with you, that classic breakup language that's like scripted,
Yeah.
or I think we need to take a break. I think we need to take a break, and I told her there's no such thing as a break, only a breakup. People who say they need a break, it's just so they can sleep with somebody else. And I said that on Twitter and I got blocked right away by this woman. I said there's no such thing as a break. People only say that when they're cheating.
Honestly, that's so fucking true.
Yeah. I
Honestly,
have never
I
heard
got
the
that one.
only
It was like, well, sometimes you need space alone from each other. I'm like,
no,
there's a
no,
difference between like,
no.
do we need a break in order to sleep with other people?
Yeah.
If that's the case, I don't want you because you
Well,
don't want me because I'm obviously not satisfying you enough.
exactly. And
Yeah.
with that one, you kind of do some self checks. You're like, oh my God, am I annoying them? Am I pissing them off? Am I asking for too much? And you ask yourself, you go, no, I'm just asking for them to be, in the relationship that I thought we agreed on, and to call me once a day or text me maybe a couple times a day. And
Mhm.
so you're wondering, was I the problem? No, it's them. And the only way a break is really a break is when they go, hey, I'm really stressed out with school or work, and I just need some
Yeah.
time off to get this thing done. And this is going to be the end date for this. And just please bear with me. It usually get that please bear with me part of that. And I've experienced that. But when it's just the, hey, I think we need space to go work on each other. No, they're not. You're not working on yourselves. They're in a relationship with someone else, and they're basically telling you to back off because I don't want to think about you right now. And I got that from her because when she would go home, I would call her and I would plan on when can I see you again, and thanks for tonight. And I got the you need to leave me alone. I need this time off, and it's just very out of place. So it's like, okay, screw you.
Yeah.
Um, that's that's another check on the I need to dump you marker. You know.
Yeah. Interesting, interesting. Um, oh, question my mind, but it completely like passed my mind. Um, so I have a question that I've
Go
never
ahead.
said out loud before. And I feel so stupid that it happened to me. So my last relationship, we had a very like there's no locks on our phones kind of thing, and I would answer his messages, he would answer my messages, like it was just like totally trustworthy. And
Right.
this girl messaged him, was messaging him actively. She would always say, "I love you," to me.
Yep.
And he said that I do love her, but on a friendship level.
Mm,
Like she would always ask him, like, "Are you really with this girl? Like, do you really like this girl?" Like which was like me. It's like, was
he
that a red
was
flag that I ignored?
he was grooming her. That's the the cheaters keep somebody else on the side wings. Um, and my last girlfriend, she was black, and she said
Mhm.
she had side niggas when I was first dating her, and I didn't really know what that was. That was a red flag, and I thought
Mhm.
I thought I'm better than that, and I can win her over. I thought that was just an immaturity thing. No, they've kept people kind of waiting all along. Like one of the red flags is you're in a relationship for like 6, 7, 8, going on for a while, and they have never changed their relationship status online. They never post a picture of you because they've got other supply online. They don't want them to know because they want them to hope, hey, maybe I can win this person over. Or I found out they're dating. Oh, I know I'm better than that person because, yeah,
I have a question then.
go ahead.
What's the difference between not posting your relationship status because you want you to keep your privacy and not posting because of shame?
I don't think that part was shame. Privacy. That's pretty common,
Okay,
especially when it's your account where you have family members on there, and your family members are going to ask you a bunch of embarrassing questions
true.
because I've had that happen. You take your girlfriend out to meet your parents, and they ask you when you're getting married, and that's uh, yeah.
True. True.
Like
That's true.
they want to pressure you about the relationship because they're from another time and they've been in a relationship for a while, and or they'll mention the ex. That's another thing family does. So there's that one, and there's also the one where they've got hundreds of people they're friends with that are basically thoughts and
Yeah.
people are single and are hitting them up.
Yeah. True. 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 Wow. This is like such a interesting conversation. I'm
But
looking at
that's their secondary. You watch like you hear about narcissists. They have their primary source of supply and their secondary. The secondary is those friends they will go to. The primary is that relationship or possibly if they're not in a relationship, maybe their parents, that one person they're very, very close to, that they get all their needs met, all their needs for attention and everything. And then they have their friends they go to just whenever they need it. But while you're in a relationship, they have other sources because they know it's not, the abusive relationships, they know it's not going to work out. So they expect you to leave them, so they groom someone else while they think you're checking out, and that's usually from my experience when the relationship calms down after that 3 4 months when you're not just knocking each other's socks off every night or going out on dates and spending tons of time together because you have other priorities and you have to go to work and do these other things. That's when they're grooming someone else. That's when they're saying I love you to someone else. And another thing I've seen is they don't say I love you anymore when they're the love bombing. You talk about the love bombing. It's when that's the saying I love you, and they're spending just 6 7 8 hours with you at a time, and just they want to spend all their time and energy with you and tell you I love you. Another thing I've seen is the women, this mainly from women, they want to kiss like every 5 minutes, and you're like, okay, I guess we could do that. That feels good, but this is kind of strange. Why would we have to do this in the middle of the street? And that's because they want you to think about them nonstop. And that serves some purposes because a couple purposes. One, it gets you to think about them nonstop, and two, it hurts more when they leave because you're obsessed with them. You're wondering what you did wrong, and really that was them faking it. That they were never that interested, and they do this with everybody. I
Well,
mean, when I
I'm a very passionate person. I'm like very much so like I love PDA. Like I always
of
want
course,
to grab your hand. Um, and I feel like I'm
oh,
making excuses for like bad people's behavior. I
well,
apologize. Like,
I'm the same way. It's respectful PDA, not mauling each other in the street, and it's just kind of weird because I've had these relationships. They always you're walking with them and they want to kiss like suddenly, and you're like, okay, no, we're holding hands. I'm holding you. I'm walking with you. Just kind of weird that you have to do this like every 10 steps, and it's just
hmm,
nonstop. And another thing about the love bombing when the stage where they're pulling away, and I had my ex actually came to my door. I told you that she broke up with me, and I turned things around because I basically just was okay. That's fine. I'm done with this. I gave her stuff back the next day, and she came right back. We talk about that in a minute. But
yeah,
I
we did.
never got any I never got any conversations about the relationship. I'd always, hey, we need to talk. And it was never, hey, I'm upset with you. Hey, it's just like we need to talk about the status right now. What you expect? What do you need from me? What do you want me to start doing or stop doing? And never those conversations. It was just, I love you, I love you, I love you.
Okay, next question.
And
And feel free to not answer it. What are you in school studying?
food science,
Science.
food science.
No way.
Yes.
So what made you like be this relationship expert though? Like just on like
Um,
free time?
Well, when I was going through my divorce, it was the most painful thing I've ever gone through because I
Hmm.
had a whole bunch of experiences that happened, during that point. I got sick with typhoid fever. I had to keep my dad out of the house. I was unemployed. I was very depressed, and instead of focusing on my divorce, actually, I focused on trying to get her back as one aspect, but I read a whole bunch of psychology books, and there's more YouTube videos now. There weren't as much back then, but I just
Hmm.
kind of looked at the problem from several different angles, and I found out a whole bunch of information. I didn't know these relationships until later on, but with this breakup, I read more about it, and I just kind of see some common traits to where I'm able to help others out. And it's now it's more when you see someone like that, you kind of get this like gut feeling that something's off. And
Wow.
it's just I've grown up, I just say I've grown up with crazy my whole life, and I have abusers in my family. I have alcohol problems, in my family, and drug problems, and uh, personality disorders. My mother was the black sheep, and I have another aunt who was the golden child because I have a very narcissistic grandmother, both grandmothers actually. So yeah, I'm not kidding. It's just it's fascinating to me. I mean, they're
No, that's on. That's true. That's honest. Honestly, though. Um, what advice would you give to someone who suspects the cheating abuse? And I really like that term. I've never heard that term before, but that's very true. 'Cause I feel like
cheating. Yeah,
we
cheating
for
is
some reason
abusive.
we think normalize cheating. Like that's like a part of the relationship. Something you just get over. But it's like no, like if
It's not.
like as someone like because I cheated before, and that was my fault because I was unhappy in the relationship, so I should have left.
Right.
And I tell people that, and they're like, "Oh my god, what a bitch!" And I'm like, "Well, I'm owning what I did, and I'm aware
My
that next time I'm just gonna leave."
right. My advice is I do a gut check. Ask yourself how long you've been feeling like that. If it's longer than 2 weeks, then it's probably cheating you're going on. And ask yourself if you feel about that with this relationship or any other, any others. You feel like your boss is out to get you and everybody hates you and your wife is cheating on you, then it's probably your paranoia. But if you feel like you're doing very good at home, but something is really off, you're doing very good at work, but something's very off at home, and your wife's not kissing, your girlfriend's not kissing you on the lips anymore, and your boyfriend's not, he's not hugging you with any enthusiasm, and you feel like the sex too. The sex it starts to suck because it's almost like masturbation for them. They're
Yeah,
not really in it.
yeah.
And for men, they don't really suck your dick anymore when they're cheating.
I wish I had met you when I was dating him.
Yeah.
It would
You
hurt
would
a lot less.
you you would have not listened to me then. And I know people that are in abusive relationships now where it breaks my heart, but there's nothing I can do until it's over to just come to them and be like, I'm sorry, bro, but this is what's going on. Or I know a woman right now who's gone back to her ex who's got a severe alcohol problem, and I
Mhm.
tried to offer her an ear, but tried to give her some advice without being too pushy with it. But 4 months is not enough time for him to get clean and change his ways.
No,
And
no,
it's
no,
heartbreaking, but it's you want to believe in Santa, and
yeah.
there's nothing that I can do to help you.
I know a girl who is actively in a domestic violence relationship, and
Wow.
he just suddenly changed, and she was like, I want to give him another chance. And I said to her,
Mm-mm.
how many chances have you given him? And they
Right.
also have kids, and I was like, you're also raising them in this like violent
Yes.
environment. I feel like that's like
Yeah. They're gonna grow up with the kids with abusive relationships. The parents with who had parents in abusive relationships end up being in abusive relationships because that's what feels normal. And for me, I grew up with it being very parentified. I took care of my mother from when I was 8 years old on up. I cooked for her. I was made responsible for her, emotions and her problems. And so I got relationships where I was, the white knight and I was Captain Save a Ho, and then slowly growing out of that, and then still being like really nice. I didn't take after her and have those problems, but just getting relationships where um, they come to you in tears and some sort of problem that you think, oh my god, I can help you out with this, and turns out they don't want your help. They cause more problems every time you put out a fire. They start another one.
yes,
Or the person they've got a problem with, it turns out um, that's someone that they're cheating with, or it's weird. It's things like that. It's don't uh, don't try to rescue people.
exactly, exactly.
And
Yeah,
someone who's in an abusive relationship, they've got to snap to and come out themselves.
yeah,
There's nothing you can do to save them other than, hey, this isn't right. This isn't right. Um, my, and so my best advice is, if you think you're being cheated on, you need to talk to somebody about that. You need to talk to a therapist, or somebody who's there to listen, to go, this is my objective opinion. I think there is something going on, or no, I think you need to talk to her. And that's because it's going to drive you crazy. You're just going to
it
be
does.
obsessing about your relationship, and you're going to think that it's all your fault, when really cheating is not your fault. That's their decision.
Exactly.
And it's usually the relationships where they don't, because again, every relationship, because I used to pick terrible women, they don't come to you with their problems. They just keep it themselves, and then they just want to tell somebody else. And another thing I forgot about, I wanted to go into with the supply, is the smear campaign. And that's when they, after about 3 or 4 months, you find out that they've got this group of friends that they're trashing you to, this group of friends that that hate you, and then there's this other group of friends that absolutely loves you, because they go to one set of friends when they want to complain about you, and they go to another set of friends when they want to tell how awesome you are. And it's like the best friend that absolutely hates you for no reason, or the mother that loves you for no reason when they've never met you. And they do that with everybody.
Wow. You're like literally talking about my life.
Yeah. Well, what's scary is I can actually say a lot of the common phrases, and it's going to be stuff that you've heard. It's like movie quotes almost. It's I love you, but I'm not in love with you. I think we should just be friends. The breakup lines, and
Hmm.
um, um, I think we need to work on ourselves, or I think you need to work on yourself.
Hmm.
And give me any weird things that he said, and I'll let you know if I've heard them before.
Um, Oh, towards like the last like 3 weeks, he didn't really say very much actually.
Yeah.
He was very stressed about his career, and I have my vlogging things, so like we were both very like, hey, I'll see you in the morning and I'll see you at night, and we might have sex at night, and that's if we don't, that's okay. And then like all of a sudden he just like fucking exploded, and I reacted
Oh.
both negative.
Mm. Yep. I saw that too. I was like, "Hey, do you want to have sex tonight?" And she was like, "Wow, that's fucking romantic." I was like, where the hell is this? Where's this coming from?
Yeah,
Because you're not going to disrespect me in my own house." You
yeah.
know, when it's not not called for. And I like, things. I like strong women. I like women who can, let me have it. But when it's unplaced, it was unplaced aggression. It's because you said something that triggered them. It's, hey, we can have sex tonight. He's thinking about having sex with someone else. Or if you said something, if you the person that I suspected, I said something kind of making fun of him because he and his best friend were both sick that day, and I'm like, wow, they're making out, and she just exploded because when you know you're not attacking them, you're attacking their ego at that point. I love
Exactly.
them, so it's. But yeah, there's it's a lot of common phrases and a lot of common activities and just actions from them, and where they're not, when with mine it was, I love you incredibly this one day, and then the next day you don't hear from them at all. You cannot get them to respond to anything, and
Mm,
then they'll reply very very late, or another day, and then they'll come back and, I love you incredibly, and just want to spend all this time with you. And what's going on is they're actually love bombing somebody else, and when they're with you, they're not spending time with them. And
mm.
I could talk about a lot of the technology stuff that I've seen too. Uh, I didn't know that I say stay away from their phone, because if you go looking for evidence, you're going to find it.
You're gonna find it, yeah.
You're gonna find something that's gonna piss you off, and it could be them just talking smack about you to one friend online who never knows you and never met them, and it could be. But if they're some things I've seen is airplane mode is used a lot. They'll put their phone in airplane mode, or on silent, so that they're not, you know, someone else. You don't know that someone else is calling them, or you pick up their phone and hand it to them, and you see
And then
someone
get
message them.
very
That's
jittery.
yes,
Yes, yes.
that's because they think they're being caught,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes.
and that's, if they think you suspect them, they're gonna they're gonna do whatever they can to try to soothe your feelings, and then go right back to cheating.
Wow. Okay. So when is your book coming out?
I'm not planning on any book right now. It's just, when people need some advice, I give it to them. I've given advice on Reddit before. I'm kind of like, most, every once in a while, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, but it's more of the, I'm right there going, hey, something's not right. You need to. This is an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
Not every relationship is abusive either, but it's
No,
just the
definitely not.
ones that are have some very clear red flags.
Yeah. Wow. Dope, dope.
But yeah, I need to write a book.
You should, honestly. Like, I'm whenever one of these years when I start dating again, I'm gonna like bother the heck out of you.
Oh yeah, of course, of course.
But okay. So what is the impact you want to leave with the world? Whether that's through food science or your
Mhm.
relationship life, like whatever. Or,
I just try to be positive with everybody,
mhm.
because I've gone through depression, and I've gone through some very crappy relationships, and I've not let it affect me. I've actually had a therapist that goes, "Wow, I'm surprised you don't hate women." And I have one now where, just ending therapy, getting over this breakup, where she's like, "Wow, you're a really good guy, and I'm sorry this happened to you." But just
It's easy. I feel like it's so easy to be like, all men suck. all women suck. Like
Oh
no,
yeah.
you're just you're just weeding through the bad ones. But that's the way I see it. Like I'd rather just like I'm a very straight person. Like if you show me your ass on the first date, I'm not
Right.
gonna go on the second one. Don't call me. Don't bother me. Like you already showed me who you were. Like
Well, a lot of that is that you know, I was never taught about relationships growing up.
same.
You know, I grew up with a, you know, single mother and very crappy relationships herself, and so I had to learn a lot of this on my own, and go through very bad relationships. So it's just kind of learning what to what to avoid, and more learning about myself and what I want. And right now, I'm avoiding relationships to just spend time with myself. And the thing I've noticed is that when I'm happy, that's when I find a relationship without looking.
Hmm. Wow.
It's they come to you and they see, wow, you're so much fun and you're enjoying your life, and how can I fuck that up for you? You know,
Yeah.
it's it's the bad ones, and the good ones want to be a part of that because they see how amazing you are. And
That's so true though. Oh,
the issue is that
I'm gonna cry after
if
this.
you're really lonely, that's when I've noticed, if you're lonely, if you feel like something's missing, that's when you're more susceptible to these bad relationships. And
Mhm.
that's the worst ones I've had, um, was when I felt like I was missing something.
Yeah. Wow, that's so funny that you say that. Wow. Oh man. Okay. And finally, where can people find you or follow you?
On Twitter, I'm Set It Seth.
Yes.
I mainly make bad dad jokes on there, but I also talk to people.
Which is what Twitter is for. So if you're on Twitter, talk.
Yes,
Don't be weird.
you can send me a DM. I'll talk to you. You know, I'm not gonna be weird. You know,
Actually, I haven't gotten a lot of like creepy guys on my DM, which I don't feel guilty about at all. Like
I
I'll see tons of girls be like, "Stop sending me your dick pics," stuff like that. I'm
uh,
like, no, like
those are the ones that send these creepy tweets about sex nonstop, or they want to send a picture of their tits, or and their legs and like stockings and something very sexual that men go after. And that's I'm friends with them. I just roll my eyes at that stuff. I actually
well,
mute a lot of porn accounts because it's just annoying.
well, on my Instagram, I post a lot of like half nude images, but like I'm very big on like, don't try me like that. Like
Right.
I'm gonna block you. I'm gonna expose you. I'm gonna message your mom. Like this.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, the it's either the creepy "Hey girl, how's it going?" Really weird comments, or a dick pic, or they just try to holler at you. Women are just as bad too. I've seen that on dating accounts.
I've heard that. Heard
It's
that.
on the other side of that is they'll send this really weird cryptic message that's like about. I got one that was about, do you believe in fate or destiny? And I was like, I don't know how to respond to that. Or picture their tits, or they want to ask you something ultra personal that's very creepy.
Nuh-uh.
Yes.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah. Okay. Let me tell you something. I have one where I'm like, I don't really find blonde girls attractive.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of blondes in my family, and I guess I just don't like that. I've
Okay.
never really been into blondes. And I said, you know, no blondes, jokingly. And what do I get? But like three blondes that want to message me, what's wrong with blondes? Why don't you find me attractive? Yep. Or they want to ask me because I put that I was, you know, this is back. I don't do dating sites anymore. But I put that I was divorced, and they wanted to ask me about the specifics of my divorce. I guess to see if I was single, if I was separated on there, and it was just
That
very creepy to come at me like that.
I dated a married man once. Ugh.
I've heard a couple of those
That.
stories. The I promised I'll leave my wife, just give me time, you know.
Oh my God.
Hmm.
Where have you been all my life?
Oh yeah. I have a friend who went through one where she was the agreed upon side chick, and got exposed, like openly exposed. It was a weird thing where they both said, you can, you know, open relationship, you can do this. And I've heard more where they find out they're married and they say, oh, that's another thing too. One of my pieces of advice that I follow personally, and don't get with anybody who's in a relationship or says they're just broken up, or you cannot you cannot, nothing good happens from that. That's
I know.
they're cheating, or they're going to go back to them very shortly, or this is just something they do commonly. They tell you that, I've heard, oh, my ex is so, or either, oh, my boyfriend's so terrible, and oh, but you're wonderful. That's, oh my god, that's that everybody I've ever dated was a monster, but you're cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's when you'll be the monster soon enough.
Yeah.
They've got a, the 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 splitting where you're all good during the idealization phase, and then when they're trying to get rid of you and build somebody else up, you're horrible. And they've got to tell this other person all their secrets. They'll tell you every little thing that their ex did, and a lot of the things are usually projection. Say about, oh, they cheated on me, and oh, my girlfriend did this, or my boyfriend's so terrible. He's done this to me and this to me, and you're like, wait a minute, I don't need to hear this. This say this. I'm not your therapist.
Yeah.
And usually when they tell you something very, another thing, another common thing abusers I've seen do is they'll tell you about like a personal tragedy that's happened to them on like the first date. Like my ex told me how she was molested by her uncle,
Uh-huh.
and I was like, I don't know how to take this. I guess I can understand, and I'll sympathize with you. That's the trauma bond. They want you to try to talk about trauma bonding. One is they talk about a personal loss with them, and I've usually heard is, with these girls, it was like a molestation, or
Yeah.
daddy was abusive alcoholic, or he left. So you feel bad for them and you want to help them out. And then there's another form of trauma bonding when they absolutely devastate you when they break up. And I was thinking about this the other day where with these is they would break up with me and they would give me what I thought was everything back, just suddenly out of the blue. And I realized, wait a minute, that's not everything I've ever given them. That was just a couple things just to keep me strung along, but they keep personal possessions. My ex kept a ring I gave her, and I found out she had like a collection of jewelry from past relationships in that like serial killer little jewelry box. Yeah, that full of treasures.
I have a lot of hoodies and
Yeah, they keep possessions that are, mementos from
I don't
exes.
think
And
it's a memento though. Like I just like sweatshirts and basketball shorts.
oh, that's another thing too. I've had shirts stolen from me. Yeah, the girlfriend shirts, the one that they always love. Like, oh, I love that shirt, and then to the
Comfortable.
closet, it's missing. Yeah,
But I'll throw it away tomorrow then. Okay.
that's yeah. How long ago was your breakup?
What month is it? It's November
This
now.
is November.
It's 11, 4 months ago.
Wow, mine was what date? What date?
Like the date? I don't
The
remember.
date.
I don't remember.
Mine was July 13th.
You remember the exact day?
I remember the exact date because I felt horrible that day.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't like take up
it's
res
Friday the 13th, and
I don't take up residency in that. Like I just I just like basketball shorts, but I'll go buy my own basketball shorts
yeah, that's one thing. You get rid of anything that reminds you of them, that
Oh
was
yeah,
given to you.
I always do that. I throw away everything when a breakup's over. Like I block. Like I'm very good with that. Like I'm very good with
Right.
not looking back. But I just
Or if you cannot bear to part with it, put it up. Like I was cleaning the other day and I found an ex-wife's, as a baby picture, and I don't want to get rid of that, but I don't want to give it back either. So I'm just gonna put that in a box and forget about it. Because yeah, you see some mementos like that where it's, but most of the time you just get rid of that stuff. You don't need to be reminded, and also that's one thing they do to, they'll try to come back to you by keeping stuff at your house as an excuse to come see you when nothing else works out. When that next relationships they're in that breaks up and they can't find anybody else, they'll try to about the Hoover. When they try to suck you back in, you'll get that "Hey, what are you up to?" or "How are you?" text. You got to block them. You got to everywhere, or they'll come to your door out of the blue, or they'll try to come to somebody, one of your family members,
Yeah,
try to
no,
get back into your life.
I used to do that. And that also bothers me when people like when I say that, like I block them on social media because it's like I don't even want to see a hint of them. And
Right.
it always bothers me when I'm like when girls like I don't know about like how it is for guys when girls are like, oh, he's dating someone new. I'm like, what did you expect him to do?
Oh no, we stalk your social media too. We'll look at what you're doing and see if anything's changed. I still had I had access to my ex's Fitbit account, and that was and I didn't realize it. I finally got rid of that, and I didn't realize that was because I was trying to contact her when she wouldn't just lay into me for calling her during a stressful time. That's because she was cheating on me with somebody at work. So I was like, okay, is she home? Yeah, she's home. Or you want to check their accounts, and there's when you check their accounts, you're either going to see it's like their phone. You're going to see something that upsets you,
It
or
always
you're
does.
just
Yes.
or you're going to see nothing at all. You're just going to see, wow, their sense of humor has really changed since we broke up, or how can they act like everything's fine? Well, normal people don't act like everything's fine after a breakup. They usually go through some grieving, and that
Mm-hmm.
could be, they say it takes a week for every month that you've been in a relationship. That doesn't work for abusive relationships. It took me 5 years to get over my divorce because I had a whole bunch of things happen during that. It could take you, 6 months, a year longer, and that depends on everything you've gone through. Your friend that's, being abused and hit, it could take her a few years
Yeah.
because you're not dealing with just that abuse. You're dealing with issues from childhood.
Yeah. Word. Well, this was super rewarding. Thank you so much for
Hmm.
chatting with me.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you have anything else you want to ask, I'm pretty knowledgeable about this kind of thing because I've lived through it a bunch of times, and
Can
um,
you say the name of the YouTube channel that you referred to me?
what was it? Knowing the narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
It was also, I mean, I have a whole bunch of those that I used to watch until recently, and I kind of got over that issue. But that one helped out a whole lot because this man is a narcissist himself,
Mm-hmm.
and he talks about narcissists. And I like his warning on his site. He says, "Do not try to attack me. I just love the attention."
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah. I was
And
listening to it this morning and I was like, wow, like this is something that we should all be aware of. It's something
right,
that we should all just know, you know?
well, they're out there, and most people go, "There's something wrong with this person. I'm gonna stay away." But those that are, if you're codependent, if you've been hurt, they're gonna come to you, and they're like the perfect car salesman. They sell themselves perfectly, like it's like a pickup artist, or like how like a stripper. I was talking about that earlier. Actually, the they ask you they seem really interested in you, and they ask you questions, but they don't really want to hear the answer.
Yeah.
The where you from? Which the strip? I don't go to strip clubs anymore. This was like 10 years ago, but I noticed that they'd all ask me, "Where you from? What's your name? And what do you do for work?" But never sit around for the answer.
Well, that's because
It's a job to them. Yeah, I mean
they
it's
want you to appear as if they're interested.
right.
I've noticed like in the bartending world, which I'm trying to steer away from now,
You were a
that's
bartender.
like our huh?
You were a bartender.
Yeah, yeah,
I
exactly.
have a copy of Trader Joe's from the '70s.
Ah, but that's a part of our introductory. Like, how you doing? How's life? Okay, cool.
Right.
Bye. And like it just became like it became very insincere because it's like I don't care how you're
Uh
dating.
huh.
I just want you to tip me.
Right. And be all happy and smiling. I got a friend who's a waitress, and she's kind of like, she's she's not very chipper. She's not depressed. She's just kind of mellow. But she's
Mm.
like, yeah, the way I act at work is completely different from how you see me.
Oh my god, yeah. I just got tired of it. I got so tired because it's like
It's
I
fake. It
like
doesn't feel
I'm
right.
giving all this energy to something that I don't really care about.
That's how your ex felt. Yeah, that's that. Oh my God, you know, that when you hear that, I think we need to take a break. And they seem exhausted and stressed out because they've been faking it for like, you know, 4, 6, 8 months.
Yeah,
They never, you know, and they know when they know from the beginning it's not going to work out. And you know, I asked my ex, she's like, "Wow, I can't believe we lasted almost 10 months." And I go, "How long did you think we'd last?" And she's like, "I didn't think we'd make it to 6. That's not normal."
well, no, yeah,
Good
like
thing.
our relationship like ended super fast. Like it was like the fastest. It was like the fastest romance ever, and I was like, which I'm very
Yep.
thankful about. I'm very thankful about though, because like I don't want you to waste my time. Like I'm dying.
How
Like
long did it last?
3 months.
Your relationship was only 3 months long.
Uh huh.
Oh, ooh, yeah. Ugh. I've had those. They come on very, very strong and promise you everything, and then as soon
Yeah,
as they get everything they need from you, they are out.
yeah, yeah,
Unless they can string you along, they're cheating. They're out. That's
yeah.
you know
No, yeah.
like
For it.
like if I ask you how long before you had sex,
2 weeks.
that's not bad
I
because
mean,
it's
I don't really give like a timeline for sex. Like for me, it's just sex.
right.
Um.
Mine actually, I made us get a tested first.
Mhm.
Um, just because you can never be too sure, and I've had a STD scare before.
Oh yeah, I think
Um,
everyone's had that.
yeah, and it's
That's
yeah.
fun. That
Oh,
that's always a
I
fun
was
2 weeks
I was
or
just mad as hell because I had to I didn't know for sure, and I went and got tested after my breakup, and it was scary. But it was I was mad as hell because it was $85.
yeah, no, yeah. I don't know why
It's
they're
expensive.
so expensive. Like, ooh. But okay, okay. I'm gonna let you go though because I
Okay,
think it's late on both of our sides. Um, thank you so much for chatting with me. Like, I feel like I've
no
learned
problem.
so much.
You can always talk to me through DMs. This is this is something that I'm very passionate about.
Write the book,
I need to.
and when you do, tag me, and I'll share it with everyone.
Oh, definitely.
I love meeting authors because like it takes so much patience that I don't think that we appreciate.
Why don't you write a book?
Me? Because
Yeah.
I'm stupid.
Well, I'm not seeing that from you.
Thank you. That's really nice of you. Thank you. Seth said it, guys. Follow him. Genius. I feel like we try to overcomplicate relationships when they're really quite simple. Um, 3 months doesn't sound like a long time. 5 years doesn't sound like a long time. But when you think about it, you're missing out on so much happiness when you are in a toxic relationship. That's my conclusion. I thought it was pretty deep. Thank you guys for viewing.